Hi, welcome to my land. My name is Toma, and today I want to talk to you about a thing that I have been working on for 2 years. It's land clearing. You can see that I own a piece of land, and it consists of a lot of nice variety of trees. I have birch, oak, red cedar. The problem here is that it has been neglected for a long time, and it's overgrown by yaupon. The problem with yaupon is that it takes a lot of water, so it kills a lot of trees, that you want to keep. And a lot of people, they hire people with, skid steers, they grind it up. And I don't like that solution because I've been watching people do this, and I think it causes a lot of issues. First of all, that skid steer is small, but it takes a lot of space, to navigate. So what these people usually do, they take down a lot of trees. So every now and then, they keep one mature tree, and that's about it. The rest looks just awful. They really thin up um, the whole forest. I don't like that. The problem when you do that, when you thin it out like that, you don't have a lot of shade. You change completely the environment of the mature trees, and they don't like it, and they die. And guess what? You don't have small trees around it, so you end up with a pasture. It's gonna be all clear in a few years. I've seen that happening. Also, these skid steers, they don't like to the tracks. They don't like to drive over roots, so they push it out and they tear out a lot of roots. I'm in East Texas, and the soil here consists of clay basically, and then 4 maybe 6 inches of dirt with sand. The problem with this, if you take those roots out, you're gonna have a lot of problems with erosion. I've seen that my neighbors do this, and I drive by, and it's East Texas. It rains a lot, and it just looks awful. You can see that they actually struggle. Uh, soil like this, you can imagine like your skin. The top layer is very thin but very dense because it's been compacting for decades, hundreds of years. So once you touch that, it's really hard to get that uh, denseness back. So it's gonna start eroding and eroding more. So this area just keeps growing, keeps growing. So you don't want to touch this topsoil at all. You want to be gentle. So I know it's awful that I do. It's a lot of work, but I cut these out by hand with chainsaws and loppers. It's delicate work. The advantage of this is you can keep all the small trees. I'm going to show you a prime example. I'm working on an area here, and I already cleared this like a year ago or two. Unfortunately, I made some mistakes. I'm going to talk about those, but you can see that small trees like that already started growing. So if you were to come in with a skid steer here, that guy is gonna just take this out as well, and maybe keep, these trees, and that's about it. So I want to keep the next generation of trees. Um, let's talk about the mistake, and hopefully you can learn from this mistake. So 2 years ago, as I mentioned, when I bought this land, I already went through this area. You can see that it doesn't really show, right? Because it's overgrown. I made two crucial mistakes. One is that whatever I cut down, I didn't drag it out immediately. So I left a lot of stuff in here. The problem with that is, the next generation of yaupon starts growing and grows into the old cut down stuff. So you can't just go in with a lawnmower and keep it low because you have old stuff in there. So lesson number one is whatever you cut down, drag it out. because it's going to be in the way. Don't think you have, like 5 years, let it rot. No, the new plants, they will take away, and at the end you can see it's just growing back, and it comes back even stronger. So you have to clear everything so you can come back with a lawnmower like every few months and just cut it down like this. The second mistake I've done is I left high trunks or stumps. And that's probably an even bigger mistake, because I can't just drive in. I use a zero turn. You will see that in the video. And when I leave this high, even like 3 to 4 inches, that means I can't. The edge of the lawnmower is gonna hit that, or the wheel is gonna hit that. So it's gonna be in the way. That means you're gonna go around it. That means plants can go around the trunk, or if the stump doesn't die immediately, it's gonna start growing stuff. So even though I already cleared this area, I have to go back and cut these out with a chainsaw. I don't have a choice. So lesson number 2 is, whenever you cut something down, cut it under ground level. You go around with a shovel, you remove some of the dirt or some of the sand. In my case, I also use a hatchet and knock it on the side to kind of knock off all the sand, so my chainsaw blade doesn't go, or the chainsaw doesn't go dull. And I just cut it out below ground level, and I cover it back on with dirt so it rots faster. This is lesson number 2. Once you do this, you have an area. Even though small plants start growing back, you can easily knock those down with a lawnmower. So these are the lessons I learned. I'm gonna show this how I do this after the fact, and hopefully you will learn something. Here are my selection of tools. I have beater chainsaws because I don't want to use nice ones because it's dirty, sandy, whatnot. I don't want to destroy a nice chainsaw. I have a pitchfork for the fire. I usually start the fire with diesel. Don't use gas. Big mistake. Gloves and the sharpening tools, loppers. I really like this brand, Fiskars. It's great. You can resharpen it if it goes dull. And a rope to pull things out. And rubber boots, very important. I got snakes, and I want to make sure I don't step into them. I don't get bitten. And a lawn chair, so I can sit down and drink some beer when I'm tired.
Every time I close my close my eyes.
problem. Hope you can see that there is a 6-inch stump here, and I cut it too high. That means I cannot go over it with the lawnmower. And you can see that it started branching. So I either have to hand cut these little branches like every year, or what I'm gonna do, I already dug around a little bit so I can cut it below the ground level, and then when I cut it, I can cover it back up with dirt, so hopefully it's gonna rot faster, and I can go over it with the lawnmower. So this is it. It's so painful to go back and cut these, but I learned from my mistakes. So whenever you do yours, just do it like this from the beginning, so you don't have to go back like me. disclaimer. This is not the intended use of a lawnmower like this. This is a bad boy 54 Magnum, 54 inches deck. So I had to do a few modifications. I removed the chute from the side because I kept hitting trees and stuff like that. And I had to replace these front wheels because it kept popping off the rim, you know. So this is a solid rubber wheel. I don't have to inflate it or anything. And I had to raise the deck up as much as possible. If I had to do this all over, I had to buy a new lawnmower. I would actually buy a narrower one, like a 52, 54, so I can navigate even easier. You can see that my surface is not perfectly straight, so I bump into things all the time. So the narrower deck would be more forgiving. I hope you enjoyed the video. I would appreciate if you liked it and subscribed to the channel and let me know your thoughts. I'm really curious. I hope to see you on the next one. Have a great day. Bye.